everyone, and welcome to our first episode of Coach's Corner for the year 2009, basketball style. My name's Andy Bortz. Glad to have you with us. And as usual, going to start on the women's side of basketball season. And sitting in the hot seat right now is women's head coach Roseanne Scott. Coach, welcome to the show for 2009.
Thanks, Andy.
Well, let's analyze the team's progress over break. It was a 3-7 start, and then ladies went on a winning streak in the conference and then ended up losing the last 2 games just barely. Can you talk about, in this point in the season, you're right in contention in the PAC standings. What's it going to take to keep that consistency and try to develop as a team throughout the rest of this season?
I think being ready and focused to go. From now on, we start our second half of the conference play on Saturday, and it seems like a long time since we played St. Vincent back in December, but we have to continue to battle the teams again, and that's the hard part, is keeping the team focused and still, you might have beat them last time or lost to them, but you still have to stay focused.
And I have to laugh because the ladies love to give the announcers heart attacks during games because they'll be down by a deficit at halftime. They'll work their way back into the game. And in big games like the one against Chatham, when they were down by as many as 9 points, they were able to come back and take the win. The Teal game with Gina Brunetti, our guest coming up later, hitting the big 3 to take the game into overtime. Talk about what that's like when you're a coach in that situation. Is it more about trying to call the right strategy, or is it more about trying to keep the pressure off of the team trying to come back?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think what's good about that is, like, we have been down and we do work hard to come back, and sometimes we put ourselves in those situations. But sometimes, the competition we're going up against is good too. But making sure that we stay confident, and for me, it's just as stressful as it is for you guys up there, but it also comes down to who you want the ball in their hands at the end of the game, and calling the right play and getting the defensive stops and being consistent. And then in the close games like that, our team needs to focus on those things.
Can't imagine the nerves that you feel down there. It's got to be nerve-wracking at times. Even in the game against Waynesburg, which we didn't mention a little bit earlier, you guys were down again by around 8 points at halftime, came back in the final minutes and were able to win the game. Talk about making those calls to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers, because we did notice that in the Waynesburg game. We saw the ball get into the playmakers where they were at their strengths. Talk about how the strategy affected those outcomes as well.
I think, if you coach your kids and make sure they're at the right spots and the right times, and them able to knock down the shots or able to execute, says a lot about them. We can only do so much to get them ready and get them, to execute, and they, have worked hard to get to that point. And like I said, they could easily just, especially even yesterday, being down by 18 at one point twice, they could easily gave up, but they didn't. So that shows a lot of character about with our team.
So based on that, we're starting to notice that the Lady Titans are more of a second half team, and it seems like in the first half they keep up and then fall behind at halftime, but then they're right back in it. Is that a concern at some point when the deficit becomes so high that the team has to use all their energy to come back in a situation like that?
Of course, I don't really plan on, I don't say, all right, guys, we're only going to let's focus on only being down by 5 points at halftime, or 18, but that's, with certain games, it's, especially the Teal, we were, only down by 2, only down by 5, so we want to get ourselves in a position to win the game, and being down by only that many, and these games that we go into, they're not going to be easy. They're all going to be close, and I know that as a coach, and I think our kids know that. So if we're down by 5 or 6 before halftime, to us, that's we're in the game. It's not for us to be down and think that we're down and out. That's not at all.
Okay, let's spotlight a couple of players. Our guest later on the show is going to be Gina Brunetti. She's hit some big shots throughout her career. Being the senior leader of the team, we even saw in the Teal game, as we mentioned earlier, hit that big 3 to take the game to overtime. What about her gameplay has developed over the years as you've been coaching?
Oh, it improved tremendously. I think Gina came in from high school and learning the college game just like any freshman. I think defensively is where she improved tremendously. We all knew Gina could knock down the shots, and she shows that. And what we don't realize is that defensively she usually matched up with the other team's best player. So that shows tremendous improvement on that side of the game for her. So
now, talking about improvement through the season, you mentioned in the first show that we had, the preview show, so to speak, that we were talking about more of freshmen getting involved with the offense since there was going to be a roster pretty much full of them. How have they been able to mature throughout the season? Are you liking where their progress is going?
Absolutely. I think Emily Dolsack has improved tremendously and one of our top scorers that we look to go to. We have Emily Montone, who comes off the bench as our point guard and helps defensively, is a good spark for us, and Krista is also comes in and gives us some minutes that we need to. So it's they're still freshmen, still and it's hard too in close games getting them to understand what you want them to do or execute this way, or you kind of expect them to already know, but they're just learning.
You mentioned Emily Dolsack. I have a hard time sometimes distinguishing the two because they both have very similar styles of offense. They're both aggressive and they both play well. But talk about their performance as sisters. What's it like for sisters to coexist on the same team, in your opinion?
Well, this is my second set of sisters. I had Eaton's back a couple years ago, but I call them different names. I switch the names all the time. I'm like Emily to Amy, and they get confused. But they actually work well together. They communicate well, and they work hard. And you could see that when you come and see us play, is that they're giving their 100%, and they just want to win.
Now, talking about the season so far, there were a couple of games against two of the Pac powerhouses, I guess I can call them, W&J and Thomas More, kind of back-to-back with each other. Talk about how that helped develop the team's maturity overall, considering that going for the Pac championship, eventually, those are the two teams to beat.
Well, I think that's a very long road ahead of us. Those two are obviously the top two teams, and us competing against them, I know that we did not play our best those two games, and I felt some things didn't, are foul trouble, and they were more physical, and that's the bottom line, is that we need to be more physical, and especially with the teams below. We're all tied for third place. If you look in the standings, fourth place, third and fourth. It's a whole. There's 5 other teams tied. So we're gonna have to be more physical with everybody. And I think that was the wake up call for us playing those two teams.
Okay, Coach. Well, we're hoping to see some physicality out of the girls, and hopefully we'll see what happens against St. Vincent this weekend.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to be back with Gina Brunetti, the senior, coming up later. You're watching Coach's Corner. Don't go away.
Ready to get your broadcasting career off and rolling? Then it's time to explore your options by being a part of Titan Radio at Westminster College.
We try to run the radio station as closely as what might be found in the real world.
There's student anchors, student reporters, student producers.
It's really hands-on, and you learn a lot your first year.
From keeping the community informed,
I'm Pamela Marlowe with the Titan Radio News Update,
to keeping the community entertained.
Moving 5, going out on tour again.
You'll get all the radio experience you could ask for, and more, only at Westminster College.
If we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
But a vehicle is more than price.
A whole lot more.
Gio Crivelli consistently invests in manpower, training, and equipment to deliver car buyers peace of mind.
From our state-of-the-art repair and service garage to our award-winning auto body repair center, Gio Crivelli is prepared to earn your trust.
Gas, stingy, and power to rugged Silverado, Gio Crivelli Chevrolet, Route 18, Newcastle.
And remember, if we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, everyone. I'm Andy Bortz, and now we get to interview one of the stars of the women's basketball team. If you're looking for her, you'll probably find her downtown on the basketball court. It's senior guard Gina Brunetti. Gina, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hope that was an accurate description, finding you downtown, because that's where you make most of the shots from that you do. But let's talk about your career so far. Mention that you're a senior, and you've been at this for a while now. What's it like being in the role of a leadership position as a senior?
Well, it was really nice that I had the advantage of playing with Emily Ackerman and Rachel Eaton, Desiree Sterling, other leaders like that. And when you play with people like that, they really teach you how to be a leader. And at the same time, you have to bring your own personality to the table. You can't really, mimic someone else perfectly. But it's helpful to have people like that you've played with in the past. They really help you learn how to become your own leader in your own way.
Well, it's fun watching you play on the court because it seems like you're the one taking majority of the smart shots. You're finding the open area of the court and you're taking the shot when it's open. That big three to take the game to overtime against Teal, I still can't get that out of my mind. How much do you credit coaching for the offensive strategy to get those shots, and how much do you credit the players for making that play happen?
a lot. Coach Scott is really good at the end of games, drawing up plays, and very clearly too. I don't know that I could, in a pressure situation like that, come in and know a play and be able to put people where they need to be. And she's very specific when she sets up those plays, tells us exactly what we have to do, when we have to do it, and also puts the right people in the right spots. And, I wouldn't have been wide open if my teammates didn't set some screens at the right times and everything like that. So really, it's just trying to get a shot at the end, and really you have to give most of the credit, if not all of the credit, to the players and the coaches that set up the play.
That was definitely one of the ups of the season because it was a big pack win, and there have also been some downs in the season too, but there's a lot of incoming freshmen on the team. They're getting their feet wet. Do you feel you guys are starting to gel yet?
Yeah, I do. We took some hits. Actually, at the beginning of the year, we started out not so bad, and then we kind of took some hits, but the girls on the team are so hardworking and such team players that really, I honestly believe everyone on the team is out there for the team and just wants to get a win. So when you have people like that, it makes taking those hits a little easier because you know that we're just going to keep working hard and that this is going to make us grow. So come the end of the season, we'll be in a position that we really want to be in.
So being at this point in the season with the record you guys have and where you are in the PAC standings, what is it you think it's going to take to get back into the talks for the PAC championship game coming up later?
I think we need to play full 40 minutes. Watching our games and watching film, it's like when we're all on the same page and we're all mentally focused on what we're doing, we look really good. But when we lose that mental focus is when things start to not go our way. So if we could put together 40 minutes, we need to work on being consistent for those 40 minutes and being more physical, like Coach Scott mentioned. I definitely think that's something we need to work on. But if we could really improve on those two things, I think we're going to be in good shape come the end of the year.
The pace of the game, it just seems like it gets faster and faster every single season that I've been here. And you're one of those shooters that you can make it if you have time or you can make it right on the spot. Do you have one of those mental checklists that you go through when you're getting ready to make a big shot like you've been doing all season?
Actually, when I just catch and shoot is when I shoot my best. When I kind of think about it too much or slow down and try to worry about mechanics is when I end up missing it. So for me, it's really just catch and shoot, and hopefully it'll go in.
Seems cliche that if you think about it too much, then somehow it doesn't go your way. But that's a good way to look at it, though. There was a stretch of games earlier this season when you played Washington, Jefferson, and Thomas More back-to-back, and I talked to Coach Scott about this a little bit earlier. Was that a stretch of games that really helped you guys find out what you would need as a team to be able to contend again for the home playoff advantage?
I think that it made us check ourselves and make us become more physical and really focus on what we need to do. We're not a big team, and both of those teams have big post players, so we really need to come together as a team and play team defense to defeat teams like that. So I think it really made us give a little check, what do we have to do to be successful? And we, need to improve on some things, so let's get to it.
Now, I have to ask, as a senior, what memory are you going to cherish most being with the team here at Westminster?
Well, we have a shooting game that we play every day, or every day before a game, and we call it Sharks and Tunas, and it's kind of a half-court shot competition, and honestly, I think that's where I'll get my most memorable memories from.
Oh, how neat. What are the future plans for Gina Brunetti after college?
Well, right now I'm waiting to hear back from physical therapy school, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that I'll get into one of those, and really that's just what I have planned right now, so we're going to have to see who I hear back from and what they say.
That's really cool. Now, what do you think, in your opinion, is it going to take for you and the whole team to be able to get through the rest of the season? We talked with Coach Scott about being a second-half team. Do you feel that that's going to aid you at some point here as the season goes on?
I do, but at the same time, it's also a concern. Like I mentioned earlier about being consistent and playing for 40 minutes. We can't come and play 20 minutes and expect to win games. The teams in our conference are too good, and it's so competitive that, it's really going to be about who wants it more and who's willing to put in the 40 minutes to get the win. So, it's good that we can come through in pressure situations like that. It's, a positive thing to have going for you, but at the same time, we can't rely on that every game. We really have to put 40 minutes together.
Okay, Gina, well, good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll be seeing you out on the court.
All right, thank you.
All right, stick around. You're watching Coach's Corner. Don't go away.
Do you want to learn how to broadcast a big game just like the pros at ESPN? If so, the Broadcast Communications Department at Westminster College is where you need to be. At Westminster, you learn what it takes to be live out in the field. Westminster lets you learn all aspects, from behind the scenes in the truck, directing and running instant replay, to filming the action with a camera or announcing play-by-play. So if you want hands-on, live experience, check out the Broadcast Communications major at Westminster College. For more information, visit us online at titanradio.net.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then ncnewsonline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
Welcome back to our first Coach's Corner of 2009. I'm Andy Bortz, and we're continuing our show with men's basketball action this time. And sitting in the hot seat now is men's head coach Larry Ondeko. Larry, thanks for being here.
Well, it's good to be back after a month or so gone.
It does seem like a long time since we've been back in these seats here, but it was a pretty quiet start to the season. You know, people read that the Titans started at 1-11, but now all of a sudden, boom, 4 out of the last 5 games, big wins. Top of the conference standings in a tie for that. But what has been the difference in the team playing these pack rivals, Coach?
Really, it was just we had to get healthy and get some good practice in. We were playing way too many games in basically almost every other day fashion, and weren't real healthy and hadn't had a whole lot of practice. So we really needed finals to get here and get that month where we can practice a couple times a day and not be under pressure of all the other things and just kind of concentrate on basketball. And with the healthy 11 guys we have and all the good work we've been able to put in, you can certainly see it's paying off.
Yeah, I saw the momentum really start to shift against Washington and Jefferson. And you heard in the PAC preseason poll the Presidents were highly favorites to win it all, but you guys went in there and you were able to take that win. And what does it say about the team stepping up and going on the road and getting a big win like that?
Well, yeah, the fact that it was on the road might even be more important than who it was against. But, I think our league's just so balanced this year. It won't surprise me if W&J does win it. Us, Bethany, Grove City, I'm leaving someone out of there, Thomas More, who we're tied with right now. So everybody's pretty even. There's been a lot of close games. And, I heard Gina talking about having to play for 40 minutes, and it's just going to really be, you just got to focus on one game at a time. It's kind of a cliche, but you just got to be ready to play one game, try and win it, and then move on to the next. You can't be looking too far down the road because every game is really, really important.
Well, you talked about the momentum and the shift of momentum for the Titans, and what about that big game against Bethany? Ryan Murray hitting that big shot at the end of the game and getting rebounds. Does that game particular strategy toy with your nerves as much as it does for announcers that have to hold their breath pretty much and hope for the best?
No, not really. I don't know. You're so much in the excitement of the moment. It's really hard to be nervous. It's weird. Even when I watch sporting events, like if I watch a golf match, I wonder how Tiger Woods. I figure he's got to be really nervous because I'm nervous. But you're not. When you're playing and you're coaching, you're not nervous. You're just playing. And our guys you just got to play the full 40 minutes. It doesn't end after 38. If it did, we'd have been losing. It ends after 40. And, our guys, even last night, you got to be able to come back and win. You've got to be able to withstand a good comeback and win. You've got to be able to win on the road. All things we've done here in the past month. So certainly exciting to see our guys doing that. And obviously makes you optimistic for the rest of the season.
Yeah, very exciting for the Titan hopefuls. What do you think it's been this season that the team has improved in their gameplay, and what do you think it's going to take for the team to stay on top of these standings where they are right now?
Well, in terms of improving, again, you look at it from the outside and you think, boy, they must have made some great changes and some great improvement, but it really wasn't. It was we just needed to be healthy and we needed to really, really practice. And so obviously with practice is going to come improvement, and the guys get a better feel for each other and things like that. So it's just a process that we've gone through, and then obviously to keep it going, we have to keep improving. We can't just say, all right, we're good enough now, let's just ride this out. We got to keep improving, and obviously we've got some things from last night we need to work on, but our rebounding can always be better. Everything can always be a little better. We're shooting the ball extremely well. scoring in the 80s, I think, the past 5 games. So, as long as we keep doing that, running our offense as well and playing good defense, we're going to be a tough team to beat.
Now, in our preview show that we had last season, we were talking about how there's a lot of young blood on this team as well. For a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores getting some playing time. How do you feel that they're adjusting at this point? Are they performing up to expectations?
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Robbie Briggs has started all year and has done just a great job. He's probably had as good of a year as any freshman's had, maybe ever here. It would have to rank up there with him. Mike Percanis has done a great job off the bench. Cameron McClear is our backup point guard's given us some great minutes. And then Anthony DeFelice, finally played last night the way he played in the beginning of the season. So, without those guys, certainly wouldn't be where we are today. So our starters have been solid, and you need some guys off the bench to play well. And I know you're interviewing a guy here next who's done a tremendous job all year. It's kind of why we have him coming off the bench, because he always provides that spark and enthusiasm in Max Spinner. So, yeah, you win as a team, you lose as a team, and these 11 guys have really done a great job to get us to where we are.
What is it about all these Pac teams this season that they're all so similar and all the games are so close?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, the past 5 years at the halfway point, it's either been us or Bethany in the lead, and clearly us or them were the best team. There wasn't much doubt. This year, we're at 4-2. Thomas Moore's at 4-2. Grove City's at 4-2, and you got 2 other teams right at 3-3, and they could easily be at 4-2. So I don't know, just even. It just happens to be one of those years where everything's kind of aligned. Everybody's got a shot, and you got good games every night. And certainly that makes it fun. Makes it easy for me. I don't have to worry about getting our team excited or up for a bad opponent. You just show up every night knowing you're going to have a good game and be ready to play.
Okay, Coach, well, we hope you guys have a good game against St. Vincent coming up this weekend.
Well, thank you.
And we'll be back to Coach's Corner with Max Spinner. Don't go away.
How would you like to sit in a college classroom where you know everyone's name?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
At Westminster College, our students aren't just another face in a lecture hall of 200. They're people, individuals with a smile and a story eager to know you.
So the other day I was sitting around...
Learn the skills you need while having a close relationship with your teachers and classmates at Westminster. So if you too want to be known by name, check out Westminster on the web at westminster.edu.
Welcome back to our final segment of Coach's Corner. I'm Andy Bortson, going to interview a star from the men's team, and today I think I've got the guy with the coolest name on the team, Max Spinner. Max, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Glad to have you here, and you guys are up there in the Pac standings. What can I say? You came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're in the talk for first place. How exciting does it feel to be at that point in this point of the season when your team wasn't up there in the first place?
Right. It's very exciting, We started off rough, but we kept battling. We had time to practice, and it's been very exciting, But we know we got to stay focused because we still got another half of the Pac season left to go, and it matters where we finish, not where we are right now.
And fortunate for us announcers, we sometimes sit in the front of the bus and we overhear coach discussion. We hear Coach Ondeko and Coach Kerr talk about how much energy you bring to the team. Talk about how it makes you feel when you're put in a position where you are supposed to bring a lot of energy and you're executing well.
I like it. I embrace it. Everybody has a role on the team, and that's mine. 6-man, come off the bench, score, and do some things out there to help the team win, and I like it. I like it a lot.
And you had 8 points in the game against Geneva last night, so again, another impressive bench performance. But all your victories this season against Pac opponents, what's making you guys so strong in this conference?
It helped that we were able to practice over break and stuff like that. If we were playing non-conference teams right now, I think we would beat them. But fortunately, the Pac is what matters to help us get into March, and we just had time to practice and gel in practice and get chemistry together, and that's why we've been able to win, I think.
You talk about gelling and the chemistry. It seems like you guys all have a blast on that court, and it really shows. You look out for each other, you feed each other the ball. Talk about how the relationship of the team has developed over this part of the season.
It's developed a lot. We're friends on and off the court. We do things together. We always go out to dinner. We'll watch movies, and I really believe that helps you on the court because you learn to trust each other.
This is a year where you're definitely getting a lot more time to play, and you've played with all-time greats like Craig Hannon. What do you think about everyone on the team, not just the coaches, looking to you for the energy and the spark? Is that a role that you like?
I do like it. I was able to do something similar to that last year, and I like doing that because I'm doing whatever it takes for us to win games, and hopefully next year I'll have a bigger role like guys like Craig had in the past, Ryan Murray and Bob Glass have right now.
You mentioned Ryan Murray. I think you're reading my mind. I was going to ask that I talked to your teammate Ryan Murray about the coaching staff because, the offense and defense has just stepped up to an astounding level so far this season. How are the coaches motivating you guys during these huge games?
They just tell us, we got to be mentally prepared and mentally tough. When teams come at us, give us their best shot like Geneva, we got to stand tall and, rise above it if we want to succeed in March, So they motivate us and we motivate each other as well. We know what we can do, how we can play, and our main goal is to play in March, so we're all motivating each other.
Yeah, and some young guys are on the team as well, including yourself, being a sophomore. Does it take long to adjust to a new role on the team when you factor in the change of pace of these basketball games?
It does. Coming from high school, it's definitely much a faster game. You got guys that are bigger and stronger than the guys you faced in high school, so it's much different, but with a couple of games you learn, and I'm glad I can help some of the freshmen with some of that because I went through it last year.
How do you help the freshmen get adapted to a pace of a game like this?
I just see things, in practice and in the game and, try to help them with stuff like that, maybe some tendencies, how a guy's playing, how a guy's defending somebody, stuff like that.
What goals does Max Spinner have for the rest of the season?
Goals do I have? I just want to keep contributing, keep scoring, give a spark defensively. But mainly, I'm sure this is a common goal between my teammates and I is just, winning the PAC tournament and getting into March and see what we can do from there.
You've been on a roll in several of these games, Max. We see you making threes. We see you getting into the paint and making shots. What's changed, and what do you attribute this change in scoring to throughout the season?
I've been able to get healthy. I had a nagging ACL injury, and I really, really worked hard in the offseason to get in shape, just running on the treadmill, almost every day, getting up early to do that, and just getting in the gym and working out, and that's really why I've gotten better and getting back to the form that I was able to play in high school.
As a player, when you've had an injury like that, what exactly goes through your mind at first when the instant happens that you notice that kind of pain?
First you just want to get back up and play, but as soon as I found out it was as serious as it was, you get down a little bit, but you got to pick yourself back up and rehab hard, if you want to get back to the way you used to play. And, I'm not back yet, but, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get there in the next 2 years, and I'm excited for that.
If you had to walk into Coach's office and say, Coach, the strength of my game is, what could you say?
It'd be shooting. That's probably what I do best, but I can also get to the basket as well, but probably shooting.
You use that three-pointer as a weapon a lot, too.
Thanks.
It looks really good, and we're glad that you're part of the team,
Thanks.
and hopefully you guys keep the roll on because it's exciting for all of us.
Thanks. It's exciting for us, and I think we can keep it going.
Thanks for being here, Max.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being here and watching Coach's Corner. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.